Hey there, welcome to the 6th video in the Coronavirus and Capitalism series. I'm just finishing a delicious meal and I'm ready to jump into the next topic. In this video, we're going to examine different types of competition a market can have. In economic terms, this is called market structures. I'm going to go over 4 market structures: perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and monopoly. I have these different types of competition on a spectrum to show how much or how little competition there is. Let's examine the 2 extremes first, then we'll work inward. When there's perfect competition, there are many buyers and sellers in a market, and the sellers are supplying an identical product, something like apples or milk. These type of goods are called commodities, meaning goods that are exactly the same at every business. When there's perfect competition, prices will be as low as possible for 2 reasons. Since businesses are selling identical goods, the best way to make a sale is to have the best price. And because there are so many businesses selling the good, no one business will have control over the price. A system of perfect competition also means both buyers and sellers are well informed. Buyers know the market well enough to know where to get the best deal, and sellers know the market well enough to know what price to set. Finally, businesses can enter and leave the market easily, so there is the possibility for new businesses to sell the good and for businesses to stop selling it. This is possible when the barriers to entry are low. Perfect competition is great for consumers because they have many businesses to choose among, and they get great prices. Now let's look at a market structure at the opposite end of the spectrum: monopoly. A monopoly exists when a market is dominated by a single business, and this means there's not really a market at all. There could literally be one business selling a good or service, or there could be one dominant business and a few other businesses with a small market share. A monopoly is great for the business with the monopoly because it will make huge profits since it has little or no competition. But a monopoly is usually bad for basically everyone else. The lack of competition means a monopoly can take advantage of consumers and have poor quality products, yet very high prices, and even poor customer service. Without competition, what are you going to do about it? There's nowhere else to shop. I think you can see why monopolies are bad. In the second video in this series, I discussed how free market theory says that the government should leave businesses alone. However, because monopolies create so many problems, the government should get involved to stop monopolies. Therefore, the US has antitrust laws to give the government the power to block a monopoly from forming or break up a business if it already has a monopoly. Since we've covered the 2 types of competition at opposite ends of the spectrum, let's now turn to the 2 in the middle. Monopolistic competition is when there are many businesses in a market that sell similar goods or services, but they are not identical. Like how many businesses sell pizza. Pizza is basically the same everywhere, but it's not exactly the same. I'm sure you can tell the difference between pizza places, and you probably even have your favorite. Each business has a monopoly on its exact pizza recipe, but there's competition because there are so many similar options. In a system of monopolistic competition, the barriers to entry are generally low, so there are many businesses, yet each business has some control over prices because consumers are willing to pay a little extra to get the exact good they want. Monopolistic competition is very common, so I'm sure you can think of many examples, like the markets for toilet paper, jeans, computers, hamburgers, TVs, sneakers, cars, and many more. Let's move on to the final market structure we're going to examine. Oligopoly is a market structure in which a few large businesses dominate a market. There isn't an exact number. There are many examples of oligopoly in the US's economy, such as cell phones, internet browsers, cable TV providers, airlines, and mass media companies. To highlight one of these examples, 90% of US media outlets are owned by just 6 corporations. Oligopolies often exist in markets with high barriers to entry. This problem is made worse if the few businesses engage in collusion, meaning they make a secret agreement to divide the market, set production limits, and some other arrangement like price fixing in which they all agree to charge the same price. This is obviously not good for consumers, it's illegal, and it goes against the free market benefits of competition. Even without collusion, the limited number of businesses means competition is limited, and this creates problems like consumers having few choices and high prices. Often, one of the dominant businesses that has a significant amount of market power engages in price leadership, which means the price the dominant business sets is copied by the other businesses in the industry. Oligopoly may not be as bad as monopoly, but it's still undesirable. So those are the four main types of market structures in the economy. When you can finally leave the house and go shopping, I'm sure you'll be able to recognize how beneficial it is when a market has lots of competition and how problematic it is when there's oligopoly or monopoly. See you next time.